Hello there. My name is Benjamin Garrett. I am a music teacher in Oregon. And this is the first live stream I'm doing on my new channel called Education System Reboot. And I thought what I would do is I would explain my story, why I'm doing what I'm doing, um, and just, again, I guess, share my insights as best I can. It's free form. I have no idea where I'm going to go with all this, but I just needed an outlet for some of my frustrations I've seen in the education system. And I don't know, something in the last 6 months has been weighing on my heart, especially with COVID, that I don't know, I feel like I have some insights that I want to share and hoping that like-minded people out there, if they even hear this, get some value in it. Or maybe they agree, maybe they disagree. I don't know. Like I said, my heart has been hurting when I see the education system, and I don't want to call it a failure, but just the need for a reboot. Anyway, so my story, I'm a music educator, and I think that actually gives me some unique insights into different ideas about how things work. Um, but anyway, going back, I knew I wanted to be a performer, a musician. I'm a professional French horn player, um, teach French horn as well. And that was the dream for a long time. And so I did that, pursued that, got an undergrad degree in music performance in the French horn. But then I took a break and I didn't know what was next. And so because of that, um, I worked a manual labor job, just kind of did things for a couple years, and life happens. Meet a woman who's in teaching, and thought, oh, we might have a family at some point. Although that didn't work out, but the point was, it got me thinking a lot about like manual labor job, working minimum wage, surviving, doing fine, but not really excelling at life. And it's like, well, I love music. I love teaching. I love teaching. At least at that point, I taught French horn. I enjoyed it. Anyway, so I went back and got my master's and got my education degree, and I started teaching. Teach. My first job was in a pretty well-known music district in Oregon. Just leave it at that. And I taught high school, and it was a lot of parts of it were good, a lot of parts of it were stressful and hard. But I did that for about 5 years, and basically, fast forward, I did end up having kids, and the stress of that job was just too much for the balance of what needed to happen. And so basically, I found another job in a smaller district, still teaching music. And what I'll say, the important detail here is when I went to the smaller district, it was a change of perspective. And I will say now, looking back, that perspective change was good for me because I always saw myself as a music teacher only. That's all I did. Um, but I kind of learned in a smaller district where I taught from 6th through 12th instead of just high school that my role is more significant. And although I still taught music, I was kind of realizing that I guess I'm more trying to teach life through music. Anyway, um, as I look as I look big picture and look back on my journey as a teacher, um, I've always kind of been the type that kind of questioned everything, that always kind of said, I wonder if there's a better way to do things. I wonder is this working? So I was always a questioner, a reflector. And so as a reflector, I always felt as if there's just certain things that our system could be improved upon. Now, I don't have all the answers. I know I don't, but I do think wholeheartedly and honestly, if I'm being honest, I've come to some good conclusions, some conclusions that, that there might be some merit to kind of exploring. So the purpose, again, of this channel is to hopefully start creating content that will explore and articulate these concepts and ideas that I've had. But what I will say in this first stream is I think that music education, or more specifically, the process of learning an instrument, I think is one of the most valuable skills and processes that I'll go out and say all students should learn. I believe, and this is part of why I'm making this channel, I believe that the process of learning an instrument, the dedication it takes, the literal process, like the idea that you have to take this instrument, this thing from scratch that you've never done, and you have to learn these skills, and they're sequenced and they're step by step, and you have to build on top of other skills, etc. It's basically the system that the education system was built on, that used, like, it just functioned that way. It was, and again, and this is going to be my theme for hopefully everything I produce on this channel, is a phrase that says consistent effort over time equals success. And my experience as a musician, professional musician, and music educator, as a teacher in general, as somebody in life that wants to get better at life, I've learned that we are the sum total of our habits. We are a product of the habits we let. Okay, so a lot of what I'm talking about that I hope to explore in this channel is about our daily habits and the systems that we develop. And again, to kind of maybe end this first live stream is to just say this. I think some of the solutions is to get the system back in the education system. My experience has kind of showed me that we try to find the next quick fix, the next thing. Oh, there's this new thing that we could try, or this. And what we do is we're not actually working within a system. Okay. So again, in music, we have kind of systems built in. Now, there are lots of different systems. Somebody might have a different approach somewhere, or think, oh, music education should be taught this way, or, there's not a unifying system, but by default, music is a system. There's a system of learning to read music. There's a system of learning how to practice. There's a system of always having achievable goals, right? You go for a concert or performance, here's a set goal. That goal, we have to learn how to achieve it. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Once we have the concert, hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's of quality. But guess what? We get to do the whole system again. We get to do the whole process again. And so that process is foundational in education. And I think we've lost the process within the system. So again, why did I call it the education system reboot? Because I think the system has always been good. I think there was a time where the American education system was seen as excellent. We don't see that as much anymore. And I'm not going to pretend that it's still the best system in the world. I don't know. But I think I have some insight into why the system is kind of broken down over time. And I think that we need to, again, get back to a more process-oriented system. There are no quick fixes. Everybody's like, we got to fix this. There are no quick fixes. You can't fix things without hard work. You can't fix things without a dedication to a process. So anyway, in conclusion, because I could ramble and rant about this for hours, but I want to make this clear, and I want this to actually make sense, is my ultimate purpose of making this channel is to just hope that I have some good ideas that people might want to listen to, and that they can kind of understand that it is a long-term thing. And if anyone somehow hears this, the first thing I will leave you with, or the big picture, is if we stuck to a system for an extended period of time. Now, I would say each district would have to decide what that system is. I don't think there should be a mandate that only one system is the right system. But if administrators or superintendents or even just individual buildings said, this is our system, we're not going to deviate from this system, this is what we believe in, it's not changing for 5 to 10 years. Therein lies the key, because as a musician, I can't magically get good in 1 year. I can't. Nobody can, unless they literally have some prodigy gene. But even then, it still takes time to develop that prodigy. There's no way to do it in 1 year. 5 years, 10 years. There's the 10,000 hour rule, right? It says that it takes approximately 10,000 hours of studying a subject to become an expert in it. Okay. Now, I did the math as a musician because I was curious. At 3 hours a day, it takes nearly 10 years to accomplish 10,000 hours. So our students are in the system for 12 years, give or take 13 years, however you want to do the math, for 6 to 8 hours a day. There is potential for mastery at the highest level if we created the right system, if we taught them the skills of studying, we taught them the skills of organization, we taught them and had high standards. If we reboot the system, I believe it is truly possible to reignite passion in kids, to just develop the elitist mentality and the stature of the American education system again. And it doesn't, here's the thing, it doesn't require some new aged fad thing in education. It literally requires to go back to basics. So the reboot is literally that. We reboot it. We go back in a way. We look from the past, we look to the past, and we find out, what are the things that built the character, right? Because here's the other thing. Sorry, I said I was going to stop, but I just got so much to say. It's just, it wants to come out. Is kids or the system, let's just go to high school. I'm not even going to worry about college. It's only about, I don't know, like an eighth of their life, depending on how long they live, maybe a fifth of their life at most. That means they still have 4/5 of their life to live. If we are not setting them up with core skills, and I don't just mean the knowledge, because here's the thing. I can look anything up on the internet now, anything. So I have to have the tools and the experience and the knowledge and the process to actually be able to take that knowledge in and analyze it, learn it, synthesize it, apply it, right? That's what the education system, I believe, used to really be about. We give you lots of knowledge and we teach you how to apply it. And we've lost that. And again, I think we need to go back to the idea of what I call success proven principles, right? Good habits. It's all about habits, right? That's really what it comes down to. So this whole rant I'm doing where I introduce myself and I say, this is what I'm attempting to do. It's all about habits. Now, full disclosure, I haven't figured out life 100% yet, okay? I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm successful, but I would say that I'm working. And I recognize these core principles and values that say consistent effort over time equals success. I actually will just say this to end. I said I was going to end before, but I just keep going. COVID was a blessing to me because what happened when COVID hit is school, I was a teacher, school kind of got uprooted. It was right before spring break in our area. I don't know if it, changed any other places, but basically I kind of went into spring break mode and as a teacher and, I healthy or not, I'm not having a discussion about if it was the right thing to do or not, but I'm implying that, again, it's like I was relaxing, binging stuff, drinking my beers, doing whatever. And then as things looked like they were going to go further, I had this dilemma. I was like, what would happen if I just am in spring break mode and just kind of phoning it in for the next 3 or 4 months, even though we're technically doing distance learning? But what would that look like? Who would I look like? And I could just see, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to see where I'd end up 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now if I just continue to have this mindset of that. And I was always kind of driven. I had goals because of being a musician, etc. But anyway, I made some conscious decisions to start exercising, to start doing things. And over the last 6 months, my habits in my own life have improved. And I don't know, I'm bursting with this feeling and need to share it with people. And I just believe that there's an opportunity to just change the education system slowly and steadily if we just get back to our habits, instilling good habits. That means high standards, it means organizational habits, it means a lot of things. But anyway, I am truly hoping that through this quote channel that maybe no one will ever watch, that I am able to impart some wisdom, some good ideas, some insights, maybe it's one of these things. This is the thing that I've kind of realized as I've explored and grown. It's like when you hear somebody say something that you kind of knew you thought, but you hadn't fully formed your thoughts. It's like your gut feels it, and then someone says it. You just go, "Oh my gosh, that's what I feel." And I guess that's kind of my hope. I want to add value to the world. I want to add value to people. I love adding value to my students. It doesn't mean that I'm always perfect at it. I love teaching music, but I've learned that I love teaching in general. I love educating. I love finding solutions to things. And so again, here I am putting myself out there in this dangerous world of, I want to say be very PC. I'm not trying. I'm just a world of judgment, this dangerous world of judgment. But I can't stay silent about just this desire to see the education system be rebooted. And with that said, I wish you a good evening. If anybody sees this, have a great night or a great day. Whenever you watch this, just have a great life. Consistent effort over time equals success.